Have you ever felt like you're constantly running but never reaching the finish line? Have you ever wondered if all the control and relentless effort actually lead to success and happiness? Sure, life is a long journey, but have you taken enough time to enjoy the small steps along the way? Most of us get caught up in the race for results, goals, and success. We always think that happiness is only at the end of the road, where we achieve what we desire. But in reality, life isn't just about the destination. It's about the moments along the journey. And in that journey, it's not about controlling everything, but knowing how to let go and live in harmony with the natural flow of life. So how do we stop feeling exhausted by trying to control everything? How can we find joy and happiness in the journey itself, rather than just waiting for the final outcome? In this video, I'll share with you the secret to achieving success and happiness by letting go of control, stopping desperate pursuits, and learning to live in harmony with life's natural flow. Let's begin this journey today. Principle number 1. Enjoy the journey, not just the destination. When you think of success, what comes to mind first? Is it the big accomplishments, the goals you've achieved, or some destination you've always dreamed of reaching? But have you ever asked yourself, does happiness really only lie at the destination, or is it hidden in the moments you experience along the journey? Most of us get caught up in chasing goals, achievements. We tell ourselves that happiness will come only when we reach a certain point, but the reality is different. When you focus only on the destination, you miss out on the joy, the valuable lessons, and the experiences that the journey itself provides. Life is not just about a destination that you need to rush toward. It is a series of moments you live through each day, each step you take. Think about this. Life is not a race. There is no prize for being the fastest to reach the finish line. Happiness is not a point you can only find after working tirelessly and enduring all the hardships. Happiness lies in the small things you discover along the way, in every step you take. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Do not let your life slip by without savoring every moment." He emphasized that we should not just live for the destination, but live fully with the journey, savoring each step along the way. So how can you apply this principle to your life? How can you stop obsessing over goals and start finding joy in the journey itself? Let me share a story with you. There was a man named Tom. Tom always dreamed of climbing the career ladder. He always thought that happiness would come only when he got a high position, recognition from others, and success. Every day, Tom worked relentlessly, chasing his goals, but he always felt unfulfilled, never satisfied. One day, while on his way to work, he saw a wealthy man sitting in the park, enjoying a peaceful morning with a book and a cup of coffee. He smiled at Tom and said, "Happiness isn't the destination. It's how you live each day." Tom stopped and reflected. He realized that all this time, he had been missing out on the small joys in life. He had been focused solely on the big goals, forgetting that the simple moments were what truly mattered. From that day on, Tom decided to slow down, enjoy what he had, and appreciate each step of his journey. So, how can you begin to live more fully with your journey? Here are 3 steps you can start practicing today. Step 1. Focus on the present moment. Do everything with intention. When you're working, give it your full attention. When you're walking, let your mind relax and feel each step. Live in the moment. Step 2. Pay attention to the small things. Don't overlook the simple joys, a beautiful morning, a joyful conversation, or even a warm cup of coffee can bring you happiness. Learn to appreciate the small things. Step 3. Relax and enjoy the journey. Don't just look at the destination. Let your mind relax and enjoy each step. Remember, when you live fully, you'll find happiness everywhere, even in the struggles. Life is not a race. Happiness is not the destination, but the journey. Stop, feel, and enjoy each step you take. This journey is where true happiness begins. Principle number 2. Master your emotions. Emotions, we all have them, but have you ever truly noticed how emotions affect your life? Emotions can be a great driving force to help you overcome challenges, but they can also become the biggest obstacle preventing you from reaching your goals. There are times when emotions can push us to act impulsively, make poor decisions, and create unintended consequences. Imagine yourself in a stressful situation. It could be an important meeting, an argument with someone, or simply a tiring workday. Your emotions at this moment might be anger, tension, or anxiety, and if you let those emotions take control, you might make the wrong decision without thinking clearly. But if you know how to master your emotions, you can remain calm and even make wise decisions that help you navigate the challenge with ease. One of the great Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that instead of letting emotions dictate your actions, you can learn how to control them and choose a more positive response. When you master your emotions, you not only take control of yourself, but you also make smarter decisions and live a calmer, more composed life. Let me share a story with you. There was a woman named Maria, a leader in a large company. Maria often faced stressful situations, but she had learned to control her emotions and not be swept up by negative feelings. One day, she received news of a mistake made within the company. She felt angry and disappointed. However, instead of reacting immediately, she paused, took a deep breath, and allowed herself time to think clearly. She realized that if she acted in anger, her decision would only worsen the situation. In the end, Maria came up with a reasonable solution, helping the company correct the mistake and improve the situation. Maria's story highlights an important point. When you master your emotions, you can approach problems with a different perspective, more calmly, and find solutions instead of letting emotions control your actions. Emotions are not something we can eliminate, but we can learn how to control them and use them effectively. So, how can you start mastering your emotions? Here are 3 steps you can begin practicing today. Step 1. Identify your emotions. The first step to mastering your emotions is recognizing them. When you feel stressed, angry, or anxious, stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I feeling? Identifying your emotions helps you better understand yourself and how emotions influence your actions. Step 2. Breathe deeply and slow down. When emotions are high, your body will naturally react. But you can take control of your response by breathing deeply and slowing down. Take a few seconds to regain your calm before making a decision or reacting. This will help you make more thoughtful choices. Step 3. Focus on solutions, not problems. When emotions rise, we often focus only on the problem. Instead of dwelling on the difficulty, shift your focus to finding a solution. Think about how you can resolve the issue instead of letting emotions make you feel hopeless or powerless. Mastering your emotions is not easy, but it can help you live a life with more control and tranquility. When you master your emotions, you can make better decisions, maintain calm in any situation, and lead a happier, more successful life. Remember, emotions can be either a driving force or an obstacle, and you have the power to choose how to use them. Principle number 3, make space for creativity. Have you ever felt that your life is so busy that there's no time to think, be creative, or try something new? Every day is a constant stream of tasks, meetings, and deadlines. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, are you losing touch with your creativity amidst all the things you need to do? We all know that creativity is a powerful force in life and work. Yet, in a society where everyone is racing against time, creativity often gets pushed aside. You can spend the whole day solving problems, but by the end of the day, you might feel drained, as if there's no room in your mind for new ideas. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not busy work that makes you successful, but the time you spend on meaningful things." What this means is that if you're constantly working without making time for creativity, you will feel exhausted and demotivated. Creativity needs space to grow, and that's something we must nurture in our lives. Think about the moments when you truly feel creative. New ideas often come when we're not in a rush, when we allow our minds to relax and have no pressure. When you feel comfortable and unburdened by your work schedule, creativity will flow freely. That's why you need to make room for creativity. Consider an artist. They cannot create if they don't have time and space to experiment and think of new ideas. Similarly, you cannot be creative if you don't set aside time to relax, experiment, and explore new things. There's an interesting story about the scientist Albert Einstein. Even though he was a busy man with research and teaching, he always made time for long walks in nature. These walks weren't just for relaxation, but an opportunity for his mind to wander and come up with new ideas. It was during these relaxing moments that he found groundbreaking solutions to difficult scientific problems. Big ideas don't come from endless hours of stressful work. They come when we give our minds the freedom to roam. From Einstein's story, we can see that creativity doesn't happen when you're trying to work non-stop. It happens when you allow yourself time to think, experiment, and embrace failure. You must create time and space for creativity, or else you'll feel drained and new ideas won't come. So, how can you create space for creativity in your busy life? Here are 3 steps you can practice today. Step 1. Make time for creativity. Schedule time for creative thinking just like you would for any important meeting or task. Dedicate at least 30 minutes each day to simply think, sketch new ideas, or explore different concepts without any interference from work or other concerns. Step 2. Relax and let your mind roam. Don't force yourself to have ideas right away. Allow yourself time to relax, go for a walk, or do something unrelated to work. Creativity often comes when you're not thinking about it, when you allow yourself the freedom to just be. Step 3. Embrace failure and experimentation. Don't be afraid of failure when trying new ideas. Creativity is a process of trial and error. Accept that not all ideas will succeed, but the important thing is that you've experimented and learned from them. Creativity is not something you can force. It needs time and space to grow. If you want new ideas to emerge, you need to create an environment where creativity can flourish freely. Don't let work and busyness overwhelm your creative potential. Make time to explore, experiment, and let new ideas emerge. When you do this, you'll find that life not only becomes more exciting, but also filled with new opportunities and possibilities. Principle number 4. Balance work and rest. We often think that the more we work, the more we achieve. Working tirelessly, extending our working hours, seems like the only way to accomplish our goals. But is this really true? Are we pushing ourselves too hard and losing ourselves in the exhaustion? Many of us have experienced the feeling of working all day with no time to rest, no space to relax. Every time a task needs to be completed, we dive into it, believing that the more we do, the more we can achieve. But in reality, this isn't always the case. Overworking not only reduces productivity, but also leaves you physically and mentally drained. Sometimes, it's during moments of rest that we can truly recharge our energy and creativity. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "We are not machines, we need time to rest. When we work without ceasing, we lose our ability to regenerate energy, and this reduces the quality of our work and creativity." Rest is not just about recovering physically. It's an opportunity for our minds to refresh, becoming sharper and more creative. I'd like to share a story about a famous artist, Pablo Picasso. Despite being one of the greatest painters of all time, he always knew how to find time to relax and rest. He didn't work non-stop. Instead, he understood when to stop and take time for himself. These breaks didn't just help him recover physically, but also gave him the mental space to come up with new, creative ideas for his art. Picasso understood that sometimes, to create something beautiful, you must pause and allow yourself to experience the world around you. So, how can you create a balance between work and rest in your busy life? Here are 3 steps you can apply today. Step 1. Schedule your rest. Treat rest as an important part of your schedule, not something you do when you have time. Plan regular short breaks throughout the day, as well as longer vacations, to rejuvenate both physically and mentally. Step 2. Break your work into chunks and rest regularly. Instead of working for hours without taking a break, try breaking your tasks into smaller segments and pairing them with regular breaks. For example, after every 25 to 30 minutes of work, take a 5-minute break to relax, walk around, or take deep breaths. This helps increase productivity and keeps your mind fresh. Step 3. Use your rest time for things you love. Don't just sit still when you rest. Use that time to engage in activities that you enjoy and that help you relax, like reading, listening to music, going for a walk, or spending time with family and friends. These activities not only recharge your energy, but also help maintain your creativity. Remember, work and rest need to be balanced. Rest is not a waste of time. It's an essential part of recharging your energy, maintaining performance, and fostering creativity. Don't let work take up all your time and neglect yourself. When you learn to rest effectively, you'll find your work becomes more efficient, higher quality, and you'll have more energy to be creative. Life is not just about working non-stop. It's about a harmonious combination of work and rest, effort and relaxation. Keep in mind that sometimes taking a break is the key to moving forward in both your work and life. Principle number 5. Live with gratitude. In this life, we often dream of what we don't have, about the successes we haven't achieved yet, and the things we think will bring us happiness. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, are you overlooking the good things that are already present in your life right now? When we focus only on what's ahead, always fixated on our goals, we sometimes forget that happiness is not just what we achieve in the future, but what we have right now. If you can appreciate what you already have, whether it's something small or something significant, you'll realize that your life is already full and overflowing with beautiful things. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what you have, but how you see it that matters." This means that happiness doesn't come from accumulating more things, but from how you appreciate what you already have. When you live with gratitude, you'll begin to realize that life is not lacking, but is instead full of wonderful things. And when you cherish them, even more wonderful things will continue to come into your life. Think about an ordinary day in your life. Perhaps you have a stable job, a home, or good relationships with family and friends. If you take a moment to appreciate these things, you'll see that your life is precious and full. Sometimes, just a cup of coffee in the morning or a joyful conversation with a loved one can bring great joy, if only you know how to notice and appreciate these moments. There's a story about a man named Jack. Jack was someone who always dreamed of a perfect life, but never seemed satisfied with what he had. Every time he achieved something, he would immediately focus on what he still needed to reach. One day, Jack met a stranger in a park. The stranger asked him, "Do you know that you have everything you need to be happy right now?" Jack was surprised and replied, "I always feel like something is missing." The stranger smiled and said, "Happiness is not something you find in the future. It's how you appreciate what you have right now." Jack went home and thought about those words. He began to view his life differently. He realized that the things he already had, no matter how small, were the most precious. From that day on, Jack started living with gratitude, appreciating every moment and everything he had. And surprisingly, his life began to feel more fulfilling, joyful, and even more good things started to flow into his life. So, how can you start living with gratitude every day? Here are 3 steps you can practice today. Step 1. Start your day with gratitude. Every morning, take a few minutes to think about what you're grateful for in life. It could be family, friends, your job, or even good health and inner peace. Starting your day with positive thoughts will help you feel more appreciative of life. Step 2. Recognize the good things in your life. Throughout the day, take time to notice the good things around you. A beautiful scene on your way, a compliment from a colleague, a delicious meal, or a cheerful conversation with a loved one. These are all things worth appreciating. Acknowledge and be grateful for them. Step 3. Share your gratitude with others. When you feel grateful, share that feeling with those around you. It could be a sincere thank you, a small act of kindness, or simply taking time to listen to someone. Sharing gratitude not only makes you feel better, but also spreads positive energy to others. Remember, gratitude is the key to happiness and abundance. When you appreciate what you have, you'll realize that life is not lacking, but instead full and wonderful. Gratitude brings joy not only to yourself, but also to those around you. Start living with gratitude today, and you'll see that life is more beautiful than ever before. Principle number 6, maintain positive energy. In life, we can't avoid challenges, hardships, and moments of darkness. Sometimes, everything seems to go off course, and we feel caught up in a whirlwind of negative emotions. There's one very important thing you need to remember. Your emotions and energy directly influence how the world responds to you. We can't control every situation in life, but we can control how we react to them. When you keep your mind and energy positive, not only do you improve your emotional state, but you also create an atmosphere of positivity around you. This can attract good opportunities, healthy relationships, and even positive outcomes from difficult situations. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "What you think about and feel in your mind will create the world around you." This means that if you maintain a positive attitude, you will see the world reflecting those positive things back to you. The energy you emit will affect how others treat you and the opportunities that come your way. When you carry positive energy, you create an environment where good things are more likely to happen. Think about a day when you feel incredibly positive, full of energy and optimism. When you step outside, everything seems to flow more smoothly. The people you meet feel comfortable around you, and every situation feels easier than usual. That's the power of positive energy. When you maintain a joyful and optimistic attitude, not only do you experience life in a more beautiful way, but you also attract more good things to you. Sarah's story is a clear example of this principle. Sarah is someone who always maintains a positive attitude, no matter the challenges she faces. One day, she received an invitation to join a major project she had always dreamed of. Although she had faced many difficulties and failures before, she remained confident and optimistic that good things would come her way. When she received the invitation, Sarah was surprised and overjoyed because she knew that her positive attitude and belief in herself had helped her attract this opportunity. So, how can you maintain positive energy in your daily life? Here are 3 steps you can start practicing today. Step 1. Practice gratitude every day. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to maintain positive energy. Every day, take a moment to appreciate the good things in your life. When you focus on what you already have, instead of what's missing, you naturally feel happy and filled with positive energy. Step 2. Choose a positive response to challenges. Life isn't always easy, but when you face difficulties, you can choose to respond positively. Instead of complaining or worrying, find ways to approach the problem calmly and optimistically. How you respond will determine the energy you emit and influence the outcome you receive. Step 3. Surround yourself with positive people. Your energy is heavily influenced by the people around you. Seek out individuals who have a positive attitude and inspire you. When you're around positive people, it's easier to maintain your own optimistic energy and feel motivated in life. Positive energy not only brings joy to you, but also creates an environment conducive to growth and success. When you maintain a positive mindset and energy, you will attract good things into your life. Your emotions and energy are powerful factors that affect how life unfolds. Always remember that when you change the way you perceive and feel about life, you'll see everything brighten up, and wonderful opportunities will naturally find their way to you. Principle number 7. Focus on value, not outcome. We often tend to focus too much on the end result. People often think that happiness and success only come when we achieve a goal, complete a task, or receive a reward. But there's something very important we need to realize. If you only focus on the outcome, you might miss out on the true value that comes during the process of achieving that goal. When you only think about the result, you can easily get caught up in the race for success and forget that the value you create along the way is what truly matters. When you focus on creating value for others, for the community, or for yourself, you not only feel happier, but you naturally attract opportunities and success. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not the result, but the action that defines who you are." This means that growth and success do not come from thinking only about what you will receive, but from what you create during the journey. When you focus on value, you not only gain lasting achievements, but also find a deeper sense of fulfillment. Think about a task you're working on. You may be working hard to achieve a certain goal. Whether it's advancing in your career, winning an award, or creating a perfect product. But throughout the process, if you only focus on the final reward without creating value for yourself or others, you may end up feeling exhausted and unmotivated. However, if you focus on creating value in each step, you'll find that each day's work feels more meaningful, and you will naturally attract recognition, opportunities, and success. The story of Emma, a business founder, is a great example of this principle. Emma started her company with a clear vision. She wanted to create a product that could improve people's lives. Instead of only focusing on increasing sales or customer numbers, Emma focused on how her product could genuinely add value for users. She listened to her customers, continually improved the product, and always prioritized quality. Although her sales didn't skyrocket immediately, her product quickly gained popularity, and over time, her company became a prominent name in the industry. She understood that when you create real value, success will come naturally. So, how can you focus on creating value instead of just chasing outcomes? Here are 3 steps you can apply today. Step 1. Identify the value you want to create. Before you start any task, think about the value you want to provide. This could be helping others, creating a quality product, or simply completing a task excellently. When you have a clear goal of creating value, it becomes easier to stay motivated and feel that your work matters. Step 2. Focus on the process, not the result. Don't just look at the destination. Enjoy and learn from each step. When you give attention to every detail in your work, you'll discover new insights and creativity that will help you create greater value and attract success naturally. Step 3. Prioritize quality. When creating value, always put quality above all else. Don't just do things to get them done. Do them to the best of your ability. This will not only help you feel proud of your work, but will also attract attention and recognition from others. When you focus on creating value, you'll realize that your life and work become much more meaningful. You no longer get caught up in the outcome. Instead, you begin to see success as a process, a journey that you create and learn from each step. And when you focus on value, success will come to you naturally. Not because you seek it, but because you've created real value in your life. Today, we've journeyed through 7 powerful principles that can truly transform the way we approach life. First, we explored the idea of enjoying the journey, not just the destination. It's easy to get caught up in the end goal, but real happiness comes from appreciating each step of the process, savoring the moments as they come. Next, we learned the importance of mastering your emotions. Your emotions are not something that should control you. When you take charge of them, you can make better decisions and maintain peace, even in challenging times. We then looked at making space for creativity, a reminder that life isn't all about doing. Sometimes, the best ideas come when we give ourselves the freedom to think and explore, to let our minds wander without pressure. Then, we delved into the concept of balancing work and rest. It's vital to find that balance. Overworking can leave you drained, but proper rest rejuvenates you, keeping you productive and creative for the long haul. Following that, we discussed how living with gratitude can shift your entire perspective. When you take the time to appreciate the small things in your life, you'll find that you're not only happier, but you naturally attract more positivity and opportunities. We also explored the idea of maintaining positive energy. Your energy radiates outward, and when you keep your mindset upbeat, you draw good things and good people toward you, creating an environment where success is inevitable. And finally, we learned about focusing on value, not outcome. It's easy to get obsessed with results, but true fulfillment comes from the value you create along the way. By focusing on making a real difference, the outcomes will follow naturally. Now that we've explored these principles, it's time to apply them. Don't let this be just a list of ideas. Take action today. Start by embracing the journey, mastering your emotions, carving out time for creativity, balancing your work with rest, living with gratitude, maintaining your positive energy, and focusing on the value you can bring to the world. When you start living by these principles, you'll notice a shift in how you approach life. You'll feel more fulfilled, more present, and more open to the abundance that the universe has to offer. These principles aren't just abstract ideas. They're tools to help you create a life filled with success, happiness, and meaning. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights.